Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Catch Camp Create. I am going to be making some salmon jerky today. A lot of people make it cut into strips. This time I'm going to mince it up and I'm going to put it into a jerky gun, which is just like a caulking gun. You can do flat little strips or you can do round ones, kind of like a Slim Jim. I've been eating a lot of the ones that I bought at the store and I figured, hey, why not? I got a ton of salmon. Let me go ahead and use it and make it in a different way. I got tired of baking it and putting it on the grill and figured I'd try this out and make my own kind of jerky to take on the road. I have all this salmon that I defrosted. I ended up not using it for the recipe I was going to make, so that's why I came up with this idea. I'm going to chop it all up into small pieces. I don't have a food processor or a grinder that I'm going to be putting the meat through, so I'm just going to do it all by hand. And it's a pretty simple recipe. I have some brown sugar. I have coconut oil, adds a little sweetness and a little bit of a glaze to it. I have some fresh ground black pepper and some fresh ground sea salt. Makes a difference when you just grind it up instead of buying stuff that's already pre-ground. And I have some garlic powder and some cayenne. So a good little balance, some spicy, some peppery, and some sweetness to it, which is how I like making my normal jerky. I also have some garlic Korean sauce and some teriyaki sauce. I never buy the liquid stuff. I always get the marinade. It's almost like a syrup. It sticks to the meat, or the fish in this case, a lot better. And it adds like a little coat of glaze on the outside. So, and I don't have my smoker handy and I don't have the time, so I'm gonna be adding a little bit of liquid smoke to it. That just adds a little extra flavor. For fish, I like using apple wood if I'm smoking it, or hickory. This one is liquid smoke and it's hickory. So teriyaki, garlic Korean, hickory sauce, all the spices, and a bunch of salmon. Let's go. All right, you guys, well, I always start off with a sharp knife. I've actually had this one since I was about 18 years old, so this guy has seen some work. Not pretty, it's not fancy. It's a cheap little Rapala knife, but you know what? It makes some good stuff. I got the thick end of the stone, or the rough coarse side, and then I have the soft side. Put it at a 45-degree angle and give it a couple cranks. Other side. It's not super dull. Always wet your stone. And full disclosure, this isn't salmon bought from the store. We don't do that. Look at the color on that. You can tell it's wild. This is wild caught from the Kenai River. But like I said, full disclosure, I didn't have the pleasure of reeling this in. This was caught by my friends in Alaska, and last time I went to go visit them, they sent me back with about 50 pounds or so. They're a awesome couple. They love doing all the same kind of stuff out there. They harvest a lot of their own food. They also have the best damn food truck you'll ever try over there. It's called the Hungry Deckhand. So I'll give a shout out to the Hungry Deckhand and their amazing sandwiches. If you look up their story, they have a pretty cool, legit story. So check them out if you're ever in the Anchorage, Cooper Landing area. They usually travel around to different breweries. But anyways, they hooked me up. They gave me all this amazing salmon. I greatly appreciate it. I'm hoping I can go up there and bring back some of my own. I deboned the little small pins that it had left over last night, and I left it just sitting in the bowl. I'm just gonna start by cutting it into small little slabs. Doesn't really matter if I go with or against the grain, because I'm gonna be not smashing it, but I'm gonna be mincing it up pretty small so that it can fit through the tube. I want it to have a little bit of texture, but not be complete mush. I'm not gonna do all of these fillets in front of you, but I'll show you real quick. Those are just little slices. I don't know, it's gotta be 1/8 of an inch. And then I'll cut it the other way. I'll probably cut it again, but you can kind of see the consistency there. I'm gonna run through all these fillets. I'll be right back. All right, so once I cut it into some thin slivers, I bust out the big dogs. That, my friends, is another one of my favorites. If you know me or you've seen some of my other videos, you know I like my knives. I collect them. Have a lot of ones from high school to my 20s, my 30s. And I'm gonna stop right there, but I'll keep collecting. But this one, even though it's really decorative, that thing can do some damage. And it's super heavy, so I've been bouncing back and forth between the finesse fillet knife and this bad boy. And that just kind of minces it up. I didn't realize how much the camera moves when I'm chopping on that. I go one way, and then I run it the other way. All right, guys, now that I got all the meat minced up, I didn't puree it, but it is cut up pretty fine. It's a good amount of salmon right there. I'm just using this bowl to mix it. I'm gonna add the coconut oil. That's gonna make it stick a little bit better because I have made it before where after it goes through the dehydrator, it's too dry and it just kind of crumbles and turns into dust. I'm gonna add the cayenne and the garlic. The brown sugar, a little sweetness, and it helps it also stick together. And the pepper and the sea salt. I'm also going to add that liquid smoke that I like. Not a lot, because a little goes a long way. I think that's a pretty good amount. I don't really take measurements. I just eyeball everything. This stuff is awesome. The garlic Korean sauce. I put that on my meat jerky too. It'll kind of blend in with the brown sugar. And last but not least, some good old teriyaki. You don't want to add too much because you don't want it too watery. Whoops. Well, I'm hoping that burns off in the dehydrator. I wasn't planning on that, but there goes about 3/4 of a bottle. And then now I'm going to mince it, or mix it, sorry, by hand. That threw me off. You definitely want to get the coconut and everything mixed in there too. If I find it to be too watery, then I'll just leave it in the dehydrator longer, I guess. But so I got everything mixed up in that metal pot. I transferred it over to a Ziploc bag. I like doing that because it mixes better. It's not a rigid container, so if you do have some like sauce and whatnot at the bottom, you can just kind of massage it in. I did add a little bit more of every one of the spices just because I feel like a lot of the flavor leaves it in the dehydrating process. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm gonna let it sit in the fridge probably for like a day or two. The meat's gonna absorb everything into it. It's gonna last a lot longer, again, because when it dehydrates, it sucks all the moisture out of it. So this is what it looks like. And this is what I was referring to. If you do have a bunch of juice at the bottom, you can just kind of mix it. I'll probably go through the fridge tomorrow, look what it is, or look at it and see how it's doing. Mix it up a little bit, spin the bag back and forth. All right, guys, I'll follow up with you once that's done marinating.